Hello and welcome to In Conversation with the one-hour mentor, Anaggh Desai. Anaggh Desai has been a suit for 30 years before he turned mentor, coach and founder of the one-hour mentor and 1+99 experience consulting. You can learn more about him across social media platforms as @Anaggh. This is a casual conversation with professionals from various fields. We ask them about their life journey and attempt to gather lessons from their triumphs and failures. This recorded show is accessible on YouTube and other platforms. So let's begin our conversation with the one-hour mentor, Anaggh Desai.
And our today's guest is Charles Assisi. Charles has been a business writer or a business reporter or, but everything concerned only with business. He has now started, along with a couple of colleagues, and consultancy, a research organization called the Founding Fuel. And they write, project, research about new industries, new age industries, and are always willing to share their observations. He was a runner once upon a time, let everything accumulate, and then has started running again. Though COVID decided not to allow him to run, I'm sure he will be back again into the game sooner or later. Welcome, Charles. Charles, let's begin with a very simple and basic question.
Right.
Whenever I hear, you know, the name Founding Fuel, my first reaction always has been, fuck did these guys go and find fuel? So I have been wondering since very long time, okay, what was the purpose and how did this happen? Did it happen with a logic behind it, and so on and so forth? I'm coming from a little brand perspective. The company which I run, 1+99 experience, and
Right.
have a scientific way of reaching the name, which I do not know how Founding Fuel is scientific. So can you share that how this actually happened?
Okay. Now, so that's a absolutely pertinent question and spot on. Okay. So here's the thing. I've been a career business journalist, and that's where I come from, covering entrepreneurship. And after getting out of the media, once decided to take the plunge, the whole focus was what do I focus on? And this was the conversation. And looking around the ecosystem, the learning was that what is it that we need as a country? And this is the 25 years of conversations between we've had between me, my co-founders, was that what India needs most is are entrepreneurs, more entrepreneurs.
Right.
And what is it that entrepreneurs need? Entrepreneurs need some kind of fuel.
Right.
That's what founders need, and something to found. You know, so what kind of fuel can we provide? To that founding fuel, so to speak. And so that's how it kind of merged together.
Lovely.
That's really the
so,
genesis
yeah,
of the name.
That's so apt also. When you understand how it came about, it is perfectly apt. Founders need fuel, so it's Founding Fuel.
So it's a pit stop for founders and entrepreneurs to come together. Hey, here's some fuel. Come. Let's have conversations. Let's share narratives. Let's learn from each other. So that's why we said, let's create this platform where we come, share narratives, where we learn and have these conversations. Let's go ahead and do that. So that's the narrative.
And this is what now 3 years old.
And now we're into our fifth year, really. Fifth year since we created the entity, since we launched the entity.
Okay.
But yeah, since registration, yeah, fifth year. But you know what I mean.
Right.
Registration does not mean anything.
Anything,
But,
yeah. That's true.
Yeah. But
And
it's now we're in.
is there an industry focus, or it's yes, an industry focus, but depending on the requirement of the industry kind of a thing, or you say that, okay, these are industries which we do not touch and something like that, or it's like wide open?
No, we do not say that there are no industries that we do not touch. What we look for are the entrepreneurial spirit.
Okay.
And as we have seen, that entrepreneurship can come in from anywhere. And I'm
Right.
sure you will agree with me on that one. It can come in from, it could be from the, whether it be in government, whether it be in business, whether it be in the social sector. Uh, it could be at an individual level. Entrepreneurs exist everywhere. It's the spirit. I mean, let's look around us right now. I mean, the situation that we are in right now.
Yep.
I would love to profile or study, for instance, someone like the municipal commissioner of Mumbai, Parveen Pradeshi.
Oh, of course, yes.
How is he coping? What is he doing? It requires immense amount of chutzpah. It's not a easy, it's a pressure cooker situation to be in.
Okay.
You got to be thinking on your feet. And there are lessons that all of us, I mean, I'm sure you would want to hear what is his narrative. I want to hear what is his narrative. There are lessons that both of us could take from him. And in much the same way that there are other narratives of people who are messing up as well. And we want to hear those narratives as well.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because we want to avoid that as well. So yes, absolutely.
And this comprises what? You, Harish, and
no. So this is me, Indrajit Gupta, who. So we go back a long way, and there's another colleague of mine, Swami, C.S. Swaminathan, who's based out of Bangalore. You spoke about Harish. So Harish is part of our network. It's a large extended network.
Okay.
So we work off a hub and spoke model, so to speak. And Harish is he's a very dear friend.
Right.
And we worked very closely with him in the past at Network 18.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I think a lot of my interaction has been on things we agree on or agree to disagree on in the retail and e-commerce space. So, which is why I remember the name very.
Right. Yeah. His pieces attract a lot of.
I think most of them are. What would I say? Going against the grain, but still warranted pieces.
Right.
At the same time, some of them are more focused on the unicorn bit. So, which is why the Bangalore I think the morning context is one, and the other one, which started off as a subscriber model.
You're talking about the Ken.
The Ken. So after the first 6 months or 7 months, I gave up Ken because I found it too much of itself and talking about the same old product over and over again. And morning context, recently a couple of articles also I found that okay, I mean it was over a period of time I start getting the feeling that everybody begins with a good sort of intent, but then possibly I think financial strains start happening to everybody. So which is where like people like Harish and all of them, I don't think they care a damn about getting into the financial aspects. So it doesn't matter to him कि ठीक है यार मेरे को article का पैसा मिला नहीं मिला. I will write the way I want to.
So let me put it this way. I mean, to be fair to Ken and to Morning Context, both of them, they started by former colleagues. They're all friends actually. Um, so I don't think Ken has a cash issue or anything. It's fairly, they have a view.
Okay, so let me modify that statement. I just before Ken started, I had a long chat with him also, and I was in Bangalore, and I
With Rohan, you mean?
Rohan,
Right.
and what I at that point of time also I realized I had asked him. I said, Rohan, if you are talking about just e-commerce and Bangalore and this thing, how much of information are you actually going to do?
Right.
One. And two is, I said, I mean, one of the things which, I'm anti-media in some ways is that if you ask a journalist to do the same beat over and over again,
Yeah.
there is a kind of fatigue, which, tiredness which comes about,
Right.
and a lot of repeat happens.
Right.
You try to twist it around in maybe one-off question and see how it is. It makes a lot of difference. And which is why even, the erstwhile, whether it was the Fortune or the Business India or Forbes India or something. Now today, I mean, I keep getting this Telegram and WhatsApp of Business Today. But I see no reason of, even reading or commenting on them.
Sure.
Because at some point of time, to me, it feels that this is not what a consumer wants to consume. So a couple of articles which from your Founding Fuel I read, and then what I realized is these were not articles which I wanted to read. While flipping through Twitter. So I saved them and read them at leisure, trying to understand what was the logic of that article and what was the perspective taken by the writer. And similarly, there are a couple of other writers also who I give that benefit. So somewhere, maybe my expectations are too much from the Ken or Morning Context, and they are more for the young entrepreneurs kind of a thing. But I don't know. I somehow always get that feeling that it is too fluff, kind of a thing. End tracker में से data ले लिया, यहाँ से ये ले लिया. Our sources are sacrosanct and all that was. And particularly like Sumant or Rohan also said when I told them, Rohan said, boss, you can't keep telling me this. I'm like, because you are from the goddamn ecosystem more entrenched than us. You get to know of news maybe 7 days, 12 days, 15 days in advance than we would ever know. And then we have to dig and get it, and you will never open your mouth. So you can't blame us for this. I said, okay, please, man, but that's all. That's what it is. So from that, I have not, honestly, I have not read too many of Founding Fuel, except where the e-commerce or the bank bit or something which is of personal, interest to me. I love to read on that, debate on that. In fact, I have a couple of articles over the last 2-3 months saved because Sanjeev Agarwal and Devendra and all of them have said that after you finish reading this, let's open the debate back onto this article kind of thing.
Okay. I think you must. I think you should. In fact, we should probably have a conversation after that because we've been actually busting our backsides on this one because
in fact, a couple of them, I also asked them. I said, if I ask Charles to, convert 1 or 2 of those articles into webinars, let's, 5-6 of us gather to have a debate on the webinar rather than, try to keep writing and, busting our thumbs on Twitter.
Oh, so in fact, that's one of the things that we do regularly. Very often actually, because a lot of the content that you see
Right.
are born out of conversations, out of very regular
Very,
conversations actually.
oh, very good. Very good.
So these are live conversations that happen with thought leaders,
Okay.
both from India and other parts of the world where people converge. We have conversations which are moderated, live conversations
Okay.
where people log in, and uh, we have some fantastic outcomes that emerge because these are not. Let me put it this way: that it is one thing to have one person sit and write about something versus when a bunch of people who are domain experts
Sure.
from multiple fields come together and discuss something.
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
come together, and then when you distill the essence of that, uh, you have multiple threads that come together. Uh, so, uh, so what emerges out of that is extremely, extremely rich, and that has been a huge, huge learning. And that was something that I wish we had done that earlier, uh,
Right.
in
Absolutely.
earlier avatars, you know. Um, and I'm glad we're doing it now because it exposes us to, you know, there are such fine, outstanding minds, and
Oh, yeah.
why shouldn't we be speaking to them? Why shouldn't we be engaging with them? Why should the newsroom be such a sacrosanct
Yeah.
place? You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, so we're having a heck of a lot of fun. Just engaging with all of these people, and when all these domains come and meet, and when ideas are challenged, uh, that's when the fun begins.
Fun begins. Oh, yes, you bet. You bet. So I think that's a good outcome of the current lockdown scenario.
So we, in fact, that this is something that we started a little while ago,
Okay.
quite some time ago, and now the intensity of that has gone up because it offers us more room because more people are available to have these conversations with.
That is true. That is true. So,
So,
given the recent news of yesterday, in the next 2 years, who will dominate? Amazon or Geo Facebook?
oh God, good Lord,
Or
Amazon or
it may be somebody completely from the outside.
so honestly, I don't have an answer to this one. I don't have an answer to this one. All I can say is that platforms, they have acquired a life of its own. Um, how platforms behave, how uh, this is something that we've been studying very closely. It's a theme that is very I am personally very fond of, and it has to do with the conversations that I've had and the book that I was at work on.
Right.
Uh, um, but by no means, even at this point, can I claim to be an authority on it. Not for anything else, but simply because the dynamics of uh, that entire ecosystem, it keeps changing and it keeps shifting all of the time. And what is happening right now, it is so emergent. It is so emergent. It is
How many,
difficult to predict.
how many people actually knew that Reliance and Facebook would come together?
Well, what we did know for sure is that Reliance is chasing a platform strategy.
Oh, which is fine. And even if you knew it is your 25 years of ear to the ground and network which would allow you. But
But
I'm
is
saying
it going? Yeah,
out of the general public, I mean, it was a shock which nobody believed till Mukesh bhai came on to the announcement kind of thing.
Yeah, but Facebook, no. Hey, that's big news.
Yeah.
That is big news. That is certainly big news, and there is no taking away from that we're talking about a bunch of two geniuses coming together on the one hand.
Oh yeah.
uh, uh, Absolute geniuses. I have no idea in what form, what structure, how are these guys going to morph, how are they going to create it, no taking away. And then on the other hand, what Amazon has created,
Absolutely.
there is
I
no
mean,
taking away from that platform either.
I am just worried about one thing is this two platforms with all its backing of financials and all that. I mean, how is Walmart going to survive via Flipkart is what my question actually is. And I keep asking everybody that.
Great question, actually. It's a question that's been playing at the back of my mind. It's a question that's been playing at the back of my mind.
Do you know Sanjay Mehta, Miriam?
Not too well, unfortunately. My colleague, my other colleague, certainly does, but I don't know him too well.
So Sanjay had asked this question today morning, and I told him, I said, maybe Jio may take over Flipkart also. And he turned around and said, what makes you think that Flipkart is backed by Walmart, etc., etc. I said, yes, but given the fact that the entire board of Walmart was not 100% behind the acquisition, number one. Number two is internationally or globally, Walmart is not known for e-commerce. It's the only India chapter where they are talking about e-commerce. And money speaks. Given over the next 2 years, I don't know how US will battle COVID and all of that, and all Walmart stores are closed and they run into a financial deficit. And Mukesh Ambani writes off a check the way he is prone to. I see no reason why things cannot happen. I may be completely wrong and off the bat, but the fact remains that that is a possibility. Because there are no emotions tied to Flipkart any longer. Everybody who is there. Exactly. So if it were there, I mean, whether you take Facebook or you take Jio or you take Amazon, for the time being, till Amit Agarwal is there, 8-10 years of emotions are tied into it. Flipkart has nothing going for it today.
Flipkart has nothing going for it from what I can see. All credit to Flipkart. All credit to Flipkart for having built it up so far. And great story. But let's call it quits when it goes. Let's put it that way.
And I think both Billy and Sachin did the right thing in moving out and saying bye-bye. Now we'll build the way we want to, whatever else kind of a thing. And I think they're doing a phenomenal job in the new avatar.
Yeah. Absolutely. You got to move out at some point in time.
Yes.
You got to move out at some point in time. But I wouldn't, personally, when it comes to Walmart, after having, I still remember as one of those wet behind the ears, rookie young bloke, who visited their headquarters once. I thought, America ja raha hoon, to bahut kuch, it must be one of those chamkila things, kind of a thing. And I remember going to their headquarters and I almost fell off. I thought, Bandra is far more plush.
Yeah.
That, they run a lean, mean operation. They're frugal to the core. They know what they're doing. And they're very prudent. They're very, very conservative.
Whenever I think of their headquarters, I am reminded of the Metro shoes, Dowd shoes, those are like 4 or 5 brands.
Yeah.
And their head office is not more than 800, 600 square feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
they are happy in that.
They're happy in that.
Yeah. The maximum they renovate is change the Sunmaika. That's it.
Exactly.
Because they say that boss, दुकान पे खर्चा करना होता है यार, अपने पे थोड़ी करना होता है. The second generation which has come, who is now investing in technology, believes the same thing. They're of the same opinion, and which is why I'm saying whilst it is there, but Walmart being emotions about it is, I mean, that was a perspective I was coming from. I would be happy to be proven wrong, because then there is at least not a single-legged horse, but at least two-legged horse running somewhere. But I think the Snapdeals and Shopclues and all of them are like over and done and dusted.
They're over and done with that. I don't think there is. I'm not entirely convinced that there is enough room for them.
Yeah, because Shopclues to me is an ethics problem from the time they started. So अभी भी डुप्लीकेट और चोरी का माल ही बिकता है वहां पर. So
मैंने कभी खरीदा नहीं वहां से, तो पता
don't even do that. And so that's interesting. In this particular slowdown or lockdown and all these various words, which as an observer, which brand do you think, like when we were talking about demonetization, everybody was like gung ho about Paytm has killed it. Paytm has killed it. What it killed, I think, except Vijay Shekhar, nobody else knew. But in this, who's killed it? I mean, I don't think Hari Menon has killed anything at all. Albinder has also not, Grofers has not killed anything. And yeah, I think probably both Zomato and Swiggy have done and handled much better compared to the giants. I mean, not that they are not giants, but it's not their core business.
So let's put it this way. To be fair to Hari, he was as the way the lockdown was implemented. It came the way it happened. I guess everybody's supply chain was impacted. But basis the conversations that I have heard from my colleagues who have stayed connected, internally the kind of the agility that they have demonstrated internally, it speaks a great deal about how they have managed, and I have a feeling that they will come out stronger. Too early to say, but this is basis what I can hear from my colleagues who have stayed connected with them. Swiggy and Zomato, too early to say. For no fault of theirs, what they have done is created a great ecosystem out of everything going for it. I mean, come on. What do you do if suddenly restaurants are unable to operate?
Yeah, but they're small pivot into supplying groceries.
It's a great pivot. It's a great pivot.
And it came in less than a week.
It came in less than a week. So they've pivoted brilliantly. They
made use of their strengths immediately.
They made use of their strengths immediately. And I'm reasonably sure, to be honest, I haven't had conversations there. I haven't chatted there. But
okay, so, where I was coming from is I have had chats over the years, very casual chats with Hari whenever we catch up at the retail convention or something of that sort.
Right.
But Zomato, Swiggy owners, and even Faso, Jaideep Burman, and Albinder of Grofers are people who I have been in regular touch in some way or the other. Not that they call me up every day or vice versa, but questions have always been answered by them, and connect has always been there. And one thing which comes out very, very strongly as far as I'm concerned, and coming from an industry which is very similar, I think what Big Basket screwed up horribly on its communication this time.
Okay. Why do you say that?
After 21 days, when Hari goes onto Twitter and says, we tried and we have been delivering well, but our people have gone home and all that. No, that should have been done on day one, saying that we will try and match whatever we can. But unfortunately, people have gone home. Things are evolving. Please bear with us. And every day, a kind of one morning tweet to get people into the know, which never happened. And which, unfortunately, uh, I think it's the same culture for all the unicorns and the CEOs, which I call the pre and post funding. Unfortunate, but true. So if you see, whenever there is a problem, I have yet to see a CEO of some of these disruptive technology companies step up and say the first day that yes, we may have screwed up. We are taking a look at this and hold on with us and talk something or the other. I mean, the only person who does that pretty often is Dipinder Goyal of Zomato.
Dipinder does a pretty good job, but let's like I said, I've not been a Big Basket customer
Okay.
too much. I've been
So
more of an Amazon.
I have been a Big Basket customer.
But from what I can make out from basis conversations that my colleagues have been having, and from what I hear from the Bangalore ecosystem, they've done a pretty good job
Bangalore.
out there. Yeah, Bangalore.
Bombay, no.
Yeah. So they have done a pretty good job to cater to that part of the ecosystem, and they have moved quite fast.
Correct.
They've responded very well there, is what I hear. And so this is what I have heard. But
Well,
I'm not on top of the.
it's perfect because, but most of the people who complain about Big Basket here have just two complaints. One is the communication, and two, most important is you tell us that no slots available. Why don't you put a second line and saying that slots will open on 15th of April or 15th of May at 2 a.m.
But that's happened to, well, let's put it this way. This has been the screw up with Amazon as well. This is where what DMart as well has been doing.
Essential.
And well, so I think this is where the government of India, the central government, has to take a hammering. And I think we've got to be very, very brutal about this.
Absolutely.
Because, I am willing to go on the record on this one, because the communications from the Home Ministry have been so conflicting, and entrepreneurs have gotten shafted so badly, and nobody has had the guts to stand up to the Home Minister and the Prime Minister and tell them that your communications have been so bloody awful that you have been shafting entrepreneurs. Nobody has told them that.
Unfortunately, nobody will tell them that.
And everybody has had to toe the line.
Correct. There's no two ways about it. Nobody has done that.
So it is so unfortunate, because Amazon has look at what's happening at Amazon, or for that matter, look at what has happened at practically every other supply chain. Look at what's happening at the Future Group. Why blame just big? Why just look at Big Basket?
No. I am not even looking at the large versus the small. The small have managed to get their 5 kilos every day and sell it to people.
If at all there is any winner in this, it's the Kirana store.
12 years ago, I and Sidin had the same argument, and Sidin says if retail comes in and the Kirana will go for a toss, and I told him, I said, nothing will ever happen to a Kirana store in India, because Indians by nature are freaking lazy. They want that Kirana store downstairs where they can get their regular stuff, bread, butter, anda, pav, and your thumbs up cold drink soda has to be like within delivery system. And I said, except the Kirana, nobody else can manage that.
By the local Kanjilal,
Agreed, do?
Kanji bhai knows कि मेरे घर पे क्या चाहिए.
So,
खाता चलता है.
He during this slowdown, we once went to this society store in Lokhandwala, and Wednesday when Walji Bhai opened, he called up and he says, साहब आपका थम्स अप आ गया है और बटर आ गया है और ब्रेड आ गया है, मैं
हाँ।
साइड पे रखूं कि आप मंगा ले आया? नहीं, मैं बोला तू साइड पे रख ले। बोला ठीक है, मैं साइड पे रख देता है, फिर वॉचमैन को दे देगा। अरे तुम्हारा हिसाब में लखी दी तुझे।
हाँ बस।
Now, trust me, in a situation like this, what more comfort can that guy give you?
What more comfort can anyone offer you? Because he knows आपके घर पे कितना पैसा है, month end पे इतना देगा, इतना देगा,
कोई
इतना
प्रॉब्लम
देगा,
नहीं।
कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। He has got no software running, कुछ नहीं है। There is no ERP, VRP, कुछ नहीं है, चल रहा है।
So tell me one thing, since you brought up this question about ERP and technology, why is it that the VC funded entrepreneurs are writing to the ministry that our consultants and all, employees salaries and all that should be paid by the government because we are not we don't have funds, etc. I mean, why?
So it's pretty simple and straightforward. I mean, if we look at it, if we look at the money trail, I mean, see, what is the VC or the private equity response to the whole thing? They're going to arm twist the entrepreneur. They are arm twisting the entrepreneur and saying slash costs.
Boss, that is a regular also manufacturer has the same problem, no?
No, regular manufacturer. Let's keep the regular manufacturer aside for a moment.
Sure.
Okay. For a moment, let's keep the regular manufacturer aside. But the VCP ecosystem, the first response is slash cost 40% straight away. And to do that, what are you going to do? You're going to slash headcount. Now, this is across the board. You're going to slash cost headcount 40%. I want to see this. This is what the diktat is. Now, the entrepreneur has got no choice because this is where the controlling stake is, and he's at the mercy.
Correct.
Now, on the other hand, whether if an now this guy has got no choice, but what is he going to do? He's going to go and plead to the government that, hey, bail me out, do something, falana tikana. He's got to plead. Mai baap ke paas to jana hi padega at some point in time. As opposed to which a manufacturer who is not funded or who has got some kind of cash reserves or some kind of runway left will probably try some other steps, something else. I can speak speak for other friends in the industry who have some, let me put it for lack of a better word, who have a heart.
Okay, let me, I tell you why this pisses me off is 2001 is when I took over Travel Genie.
Yeah.
Okay, from ICICI. I was recruited by ICICI Ventures and I joined on the 3rd of December, and on the 1st of December, Business India and a couple of other publications, thanks to the media, carried an article which said that salaries are being cut by Travel Genie, and they have appointed a managing director at a very senior level with a very high salary to overlook this. Okay, so 3rd, when I joined, say 157 odd people, the first thing they get out and said that, why are you deducting our salaries? Okay. Renuka Ramnath says, I don't care. I'm giving you 60 days starting from today. You decide whether you want to run this company or you don't want to run this company. Your job is not at stake, but you decide. We can settle 3 months salary for everybody at one shot, shut it down and move on. That's one part of the story. The other part of the story is fast forward to 2007-8, when this economy downturn and Middle East crashed and all that. I was the managing director for Damas India.
Right.
And the same thing, I mean, Tawheed Abdullah ran out of cash. So he says, I need to take the 40 crores which you have in the bank here to, help me in some matter. So you shut the India operations down. And that's it.
Over and out.
One was an e-commerce, and one was a manufacturing and a retail operation. Both. Both managed to survive. Both managed to pay employees deferred payment, but managed to pay. Because there was this gunpoint which said that there was nobody to bail us out.
Right.
I think this bailing out word and the VCs and all of them putting a gun and so on and so forth has turned people into, when they want to talk money and borrow money, they're talking like a capitalist. And when jobs go, they're talking about like a socialist. And that probably, I think, where I see a lot of these webinars, and everybody is saying that 3 steps how to increase your business post-COVID. Fuck it, yaar, you give anyway 3 steps, no? Why should you wait for COVID to give 3 steps? Yeah. So somewhere I think it has become the norm. Okay, funding should be the way to run business and not otherwise.
Oh, so I have such a huge problem with that. This whole thing about funding. That funding should be the way to run the business. I mean, funding is seen as this badge of honor.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. I have a huge problem.
I do not listen to any person who sends us this form and says I am also looking at funding. I don't.
I have a huge problem with that. Sorry, funding is not a badge of honor. If you've got funding, good for you, dude. Good for you. I mean, if you think that's a party, great, man. Have fun.
Absolutely.
But they'll come and shaft you at some point. Enjoy the shafting as well.
Oh yeah. And I see, like, just like it's an employee, till the time you do not borrow from a VC, you are an employer, you are an owner, you are a co-founder.
Yeah.
The moment you sign a term sheet, the money gets transferred, you are an employee. There is nothing else.
Yeah. There's no such thing as a free lunch, boss.
So anyway, a lot of people say, no, they were right. And a lot of people, so I called up some of the entrepreneurs and I said, he says, boss, yaar, the industry में सब लोग बोलता है, तो अभी emotional उस पे भी sign तो करना पड़ता है ना, kind of.
No.
That's not how it is done, no?
No. I have a huge problem with this chest thumping about, who's raised how much funding, as if,
Totally.
I'm sorry, boss. I have a huge problem with that. If you think you've raised funding, hey, good for you, man. I mean, cheers to that. Have fun. But you got to learn to live on your terms and with your money.
Absolutely, your money at some point of time. And then you also need to put your skin in the game, no?
You got to put your skin in the game. Otherwise, what are we talking about? I mean, if you think if someone's going to come and bankroll your party and your idea, I mean, too bad. You might as well, I mean, बाप के पैसे पे जिया होता है ना.
हाँ, so अभी ये सब जब बात करते हैं तो some youngsters and even my daughter say, Dad, you are talking a complete different language which people won't understand. So I told my daughter, I said, darling, one thing remains: business does not change.
Yeah, business does not change.
I said, in my grandfather's time, my grandfather got a loan of 10 rupees to buy a hapus bagan from his elder brother as a loan, which came within the family. I said, my father, when he wanted to start his own business, he borrowed from the bank and he could not run the business, but he spent the rest of his life paying back the bank. I said, I could not borrow either from my dad or from the bank. So I decided that whatever I will do, whatever businesses I have run, either I have run with a little of my own money and forward buying, or no money and talking to people. So I said, everybody is doing the business they think. But I somehow cannot say कि ये मेरा concept बहुत बढ़िया है. I have sketched it and this should get me like for $1 million or whatever it is. But I guess that's the norm these days. कि everybody has a 42 slide presentation.
42 slide presentation and
last two
funding
slides. The last 2 slides will be we need $4 million because 2 million will go into staffing and salaries and all that.
Yeah. Good luck.
So, Charles, tell me, how hectic, or should I use some other word? As a 25 years of experience, or somebody says 25 saal ka tajurba hai as a business journalist, and catching deadlines, running around meeting people and doing the whole bit yourself. And all of a sudden now, a big shot consultant, author of a well-received book, and people seeking appointments and all that. How does that entire thing feel?
You're making me sound some seriously big shot stuff here. So how does that feel? Actually, you know what? Reporting is a lot more fun.
Why the end responsibility is somebody else, is it?
No. Seriously,
Then?
seriously. No. It's not. There's no big shot consulting. No, it's not for anything else. But you know what? The good thing about both when I was while writing a book, while going out on the field, when you're meeting up with people, is that you're actually connecting with people.
Right.
You're listening to people one-on-one, and people open up. And when you're listening to them talk, you get a feel of what's happening. It's unvarnished. And over time, people just talk to you. People share narratives that would otherwise
not come out in the open at all.
It's not going to come out in the open. And then people just share with you, and then there is stuff which is off the record. It's off the record. And it's learning. At the end of the day, you can't put a price to it. It's priceless.
So that is an interesting answer, and something which I answered a couple of days back when people told me that on your list of Twitter people you have met, there are some 500 people.
Right.
And people you want to meet, there are some 300 odd people.
Right.
So what is this all about? I said, when I started my career, I was supposedly a very ambivert kind of a person.
Okay.
And though my family and everybody says I am an extrovert who only sparkles when there are people around, but the same, I always used to have other opinion. But when I started that off, and one of the first things I told myself is, every day when I would get dressed and just before leaving in front of the mirror, I would tell myself, dude, you are still an employee. And except your self-respect, you have nothing going with you. Forget your ego when you walk into an office or anything. It's only your self-respect. And to keep that going and keep it happening, there was no webinars, there was no phone calls. I mean, when I started work. So the only thing to work was your relationship built over the years with people who you meet, whether in train, bus, offices. And that time I took a decision as a sales executive that I will meet 300 new people every single year.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, I have obviously lost count, because there it would include people I have interviewed, people I have met, people, salespeople, clients, etc., etc., etc. But I mean, I don't have today. I may have just like a couple of thousand people on my Rolodex. But the fact of the matter is that there's probably no city or no country where I would not know people who have worked with me, migrated, or are working there. And it's so funny that, this came to me from an entrepreneur or a wannabe entrepreneur. He says, what is the one thing I will need to learn? I said, go out and sell. I said, you can't keep saying that I am IIT, so I have done this coding and all that. I said, you cannot hire somebody to sell on your behalf.
Yeah.
You will have to go out and sell. And there is no such thing as not getting rejected. rejection is a part of your selling process.
Yeah.
So it's that's what I mean. Okay, it's good hearing other opinion from you also that yes, meeting, observing people is actually a good thing, which today's generation believe that content can be consumed on the phones, which like I asked Dipinder and Swiggy, or no, Dine Out and Ankit Mehrotra and Dipinder, they said contactless dining program. I said, listen, guys, tomorrow you will come up with contactless sex. I mean, what is life now?
No, no. So this is something this is something that we were always trained to do. Just get out, meet people,
Yeah.
and listen. Just listen, and shut up and listen. Just ask that question and be comfortable with silence. Because sometimes people take time to open up. Sometimes people want to be quiet. It's okay. That's okay. Just sitting in their environment, in their ecosystem, just soak it in. That's fine. So just being with people, it helps.
So, what is the first thing you're going to do after this lockdown is removed or relaxed or whatever the case?
Go out and run. I'm missing my running.
Running, you started pretty late on running, if I remember correctly.
So, well, I used to run,
Okay.
and then, thanks to a very, very bad lifestyle,
Correct.
which I will not recommend for anyone.
No, I have already passed that lifestyle, so I empathize with you on
So
that.
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That went for a total toss, and then yes, picked it up, back to it again,
Okay.
and missing it so sorely. That's my time out. That's the only time I get to myself.
So, coffee or tea?
Chai, masala chai.
Okay. And so you are not a chai snob or a chai connoisseur.
No, मेरे को चाय चाहिए, मसाला चाय मैं बनाता हूँ.
Okay. Perfect. No, because this, like I say, that given the fact of this chai also, there is one is that mamri chai and chai patti, which we normally use and put adrak and all that. And then there's a chai snob who will say, no, white tea and orange tea and all that. And then there will be the connoisseur who will say, you can only drink it in this cup and use this strainer and use this. So somewhere, I have slotted coffee and tea drinkers into that category.
ये सिंपल फंडा है यार. वो अमूल का दूध आता है.
Absolutely.
कपोल चाय मसाला है. I highly recommend it.
Oh yes. Total. For my wife likes chai masala, and coming from Baroda, we have a shop there who every month by default sends that masala.
Huh.
So that's good enough. And for me, my preference of drinking out is standing at a chai rekdi and having a khari biscuit and a chai.
Yeah.
There is no better teacher than
Yeah.
spending 2 hours at that rekdi.
Yeah. तो ये चाय के बिना नहीं होता.
नहीं होता है.
नहीं होता. चाय लगता है. And I have to make it.
And vada pav or pani puri?
पानी पूरी मीठा ज्यादा.
Oh, interesting.
Am I coming across the total gujju to you now?
Sort of, yes. Sort of, yes. So, how does the family take it? Have you been indulging on the 3 things which people are currently indulging? One is that whatever the dalgona coffee. somebody making khichdi and pronouncing it khichdi and all that. And third is webinars. I mean, where are you actively involved currently?
So webinars have been, so we video conference twice.
No, that's the work part of it.
That is the work
I'm
part.
not touching the work. I mean, webinars is happy party, download karo, ye karo, wo karo, those
No,
kind
no,
of things.
no.
And or you know, webinars where you teach that this is the way to swab the floor and all that. I had
नहीं वो मैं करता हूँ, वो मैं रोज करता हूँ.
so an old friend of mine showed that you buy the longer stick and this happens and all that. And I
No,
told him,
वो मुझे आदत है. I'm a very good झाड़ू पोछा वाला. I can teach. I can give classes.
classes on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Today I've earned my brownie points for the day.
all done.
सब कुछ पूरा चकाचक हो गया है. I've done my workout. सुबह उठ के workout हो गया. झाड़ू पोछा कर लिया. Everything all done. Breakfast for the family has been cooked. सब कुछ कर लिया. मैं हक से बैठा हूँ. हक से बैठ के काम.
Just before the weekend.
नहीं weekend तो what weekend यार?
What?
What weekend? मैं तो बैठ के काम कर रहा हूँ.
Okay, that's also true.
I've taken time out with you. This is time out.
Oh. So I have this time in kind of a thing. A lot of people said, what skills? I said, nothing. I don't want to learn anything. I want to meet or talk to people and try and see what they are enjoying life about. I said, I am enjoying, in the beginning, I slept 16 hours. I would sleep at 2:30 in the night, wake up at 11:30, 12, go back to sleep at 2:30, get up at 5, and watch tons and tons of Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam movies and all of that. Just doing nothing. I mean, nothing in the sense, nothing. The last 1 week, 10 days, I got back into the groove. And like my daughter tells me that it seems that COVID will get over by the 15th of May. I asked her why. She says that whenever you have had these long absences or, stays at home, the moment you start wearing a shirt and sitting down, it tells us that yes, you are trying to get back into the groove and be ready for something. I said, good, if that is an indication, I think you should start betting on me.
That's what I hope she is right.
Yeah, I mean, she is, because I have never ever tried to, I don't believe in this gaining skill. Gaining skill can be during the regular time also. It's just an excuse of saying that I don't have time. And by the end of this COVID, trust me, 8 weeks at home, and the first time you meet your colleagues, the first thing they'll say, "Arey yaar, bahut khana bhi kha liya, bahut ye bhi kar liya, ye bhi kar liya." The skills and all of them will not matter. And everybody has that same excuse, because we are overworking.
Yeah.
So, true. Might as well reckon, अभी यार उम्र भी हो गई है यार, बहुत काम नहीं हुआ जाता है. इतने भी इतना ही होता है ना. That's what it is. Thank you so much, Charles, for chatting with me.
Pleasure.
And post-COVID, I will definitely drop by for chai at your office. If you don't have good chai, I will bring it to your office. And
office में नहीं, घर पे पियेंगे.
घर पे पियेंगे. Absolutely, no problem.
घर पे मैं चाय तो मैं घर पे बनाता हूँ.
Done.
हाँ.
So, all the very best. If you like this episode, like, share, and subscribe to the 1 Hour Mentor, Anaggh Desai.